Hi, welcome to the Random News Network.
Today we're going to talk about lots of random things.
I'm Zoe, and this is Allie.
We hope you enjoy our random facts.
First off, we have Allie with interesting facts about giraffes. Take it away, Allie.
Giraffes are interesting animals. You might see them in many places and remember the pattern on their skin. Here's lots of cool and interesting facts about these fun creatures. Giraffes live in many places, but you mostly find them in the south of the Sahara Desert. Giraffes live in 8 different groups. The groups are based on the pattern of their coat. Some of the groups are the Maasai, and they live in eastern Africa. Then there's the Nigerian, who live in central and western Africa. Lastly, there's the Transvaal, and they live in southern Africa. They live in all these groups to stay safe from animals that hunt them. As you will soon notice, giraffes have a distinct pattern that you might know them for. Giraffes have a tall neck, and on their skin or coat, they have brown spots and yellow skin underneath. They also have a long purple tongue that helps them grab leaves off the trees. Along with that, they have tall legs to help them reach the height they are. You probably know them most for that reason. Lastly, they have really cute eyes that make me love them more. Baby giraffes are so cute, and here's why. First off, baby giraffes have calves. Calves are 100 pounds at birth, and when giraffes are born, they stay very close to their mothers. They are also born with horns that are pretty small, but still there. These giant creatures are also 6 feet tall at birth, which is really tall, definitely taller than most people when they are born. As you now know, giraffes are very interesting and live in lots of places and have cute little babies that will make you smile. Go see them at the zoo today.
Wow, I did not know that giraffes had babies that are 6 feet tall.
Me neither. That's so cool. Next we have Olivia with Greek mythology. I'm sure Zeus would want to stop by to hear this.
Yeah, I'm sure this will be Greek-tastic.
Do you know about Greek myths? Maybe someone like Zeus or Cronus? Do those names ring a bell? If they don't, they soon will. Let's get to it. Mythology is a collection of myths or stories belonging to a specific culture or religion. They were often told by groups of people who shared common beliefs that would explain how and why things happened or were made. But these stories are fake or made up. There are many different types of mythology, such as Egyptian, Norse, Abenaki, and more. I'm going to be focusing on Greek mythology, which is also the most popular and widely known mythology. A good way to explain Greek mythology is a body of stories concerning the gods, heroes, and rituals of ancient Greeks. All mythology contains different information, so don't mix the stories. A very popular Greek myth is the story of Cronus, Zeus, and the overall explanation of creation in the Greek world. Let's start with Cronus and his story. Cronus is commonly known as the Titan King. So that you will be somebody who does know, let me tell you about his story. He was the Titan son of Gaia, Mother Earth, and his father was unbearably rude to Cronus and his other siblings. So one night, his mother instructed him to attempt to potentially harm or at least confront his father using a sickle gifted to him. During the night, Cronus snuck into the place which his father was sleeping and stabbed him as ordered. It was powerful and very harmful, but he did not die. He and his siblings were freed from him now. His terror didn't stop there as he continued to swallow his children whole because he was afraid one of them would take his throne. This was horrible, right? Since all of this was happening in the world, they needed to stop it so there would be a future generation. That's when Zeus came in. Zeus was definitely not an exception from his cruel eat my children rule. Rhea, Zeus's mother, wasn't a big fan of this cruelty either, so she tricked Cronus into swallowing a rock instead of Zeus. Finally, Zeus and his siblings were saved. They spewed out of Cronus's mouth and all was well. I mean, for the exception of Cronus, but let's not get caught there quite yet. Zeus's grandmother, Gaia, had basically raised Zeus. He grew up to be strong and witty. Cronus, too, had siblings that would side with him. Since he was so angered by Gaia's actions, he decided to recruit his other Titan siblings to fight with him, and so a war started between the young and elder gods. The war lasted about 10 whole years. It seemed as if it were to last forever. Zeus got the upper hand when he released his uncles, and his reward was a powerful lightning bolt for him to fight with. With the tools given to the young gods, they managed to win the everlasting battle. After the war was over, Zeus, Hades, Apollo, Athena, and a few others all lived together high up on a mountain called Mount Olympus. Therefore, they were now known as the Olympians. Their new life was fantastic. Cronus and the other Titans were locked away, but now Gaia felt there was no purpose to locking away the Titans. After all, they were her children. She was very upset. In revenge for locking up all of her children, she gave birth to one last child, who was a monster with 100 dragon-like heads and black tongues. It was called Typhon. In an act to try to banish Typhon, Zeus used his powerful lightning bolt previously gifted to him to banish it. Wow, Typhon was gone in the snap of a finger. Zeus was newly perceived as the king to the people he had saved. Zeus split up rulership of the Greek world between him and his brothers. Sadly, the woman of his family got nothing. Zeus got every piece of land you could think of, for the exception of the underworld and the seas. That was the beginning of Greek mythology. Pretty cool, right? Learning about other cultures is the foundation of the world, and hopefully this has expanded your knowledge.
Awesome. I didn't know Cronus ate his kids. That's really scary.
Yeah, it is scary, but it was pretty cool.
Alright, next we have Zoe with Egyptian mythology. Show us what you know, Zoe.
Have you heard of Egyptian mythology? I have, and in this report I will be sharing about it. I'll be explaining a tale about one of the gods, the basic beliefs of Egyptian mythology, and what mythology is if you don't know. Mythology is traditional tales that are passed down from generation to generation. Usually, mythology tells people how the world was made and the way it came to be. Other things mythology can be about are how the universe and planets were created, to explain main aspects of nature like seasons and such, and to explain the history of people and how cities were created. A lot cultures have their own mythology. For example, there's Egyptian, Greek, Norse, and more. Since mythology is spread throughout the world, there are lots of different stories too. Plus, since mythology doesn't have a certain timeline, it starts from way back to almost present day. Usually, mythology is religious, but there can be a variety of different things that they explain too. The basic beliefs of Egyptian mythology are the core of what can learn about it. There was a god called Ma'at. Ma'at is the god of order, peace, and honor. Since Set is the exact opposite, being the god of chaos and violence, he would always try to hurt Ma'at. Since Egyptians were supposed to follow every rule that Ma'at made, Set was envious of Ma'at. Set had always wanted power and would try to kill anybody in his way, though none of his attempts work. On a related note, Egyptians are polytheistic, which means that they believe in more than one god and worship more than 170 gods. No god is more or less important. All of them are needed in different times. For example, if the world needed peace and order, Ma'at would step in. One time, an Egyptian ruler tried to make everyone only worship one god and tried to ban worship of any other gods, but it failed. Pretty crazy, right? Another interesting thing is that a pharaoh is believed to be both human and god and can supposedly communicate with the gods. One interesting god to learn about is Osiris, the brother of Set. One day, Osiris was devastated because it was his last night with his wife, Set. It was his last night because he needed to go to the Nile River to make it flood every year so that the Egyptians could have water. He went to the river and stayed there. Osiris' envious brother, who, as we established, wants power and will kill anybody in his way, was jealous since Osiris had so much power and a very beautiful wife that treasured him. Since Set was so jealous, he wanted to kill Osiris, and so Set locked Osiris in a box in the Nile River. And as Osiris was trying to figure out what was happening and how to get out, Set found him and tried to figure it out with him. Neither Set or Osiris could open the box. Then Set came and cut Osiris into 14 pieces. Set was mourning his death and wanted to do something, but she couldn't. For Osiris' burial, she spread Osiris around different parts of Egypt, but as she was crying, she was able to use her power to make him whole again. No one has any idea how she did it, but I think she just did it with love and sorrow. Osiris was whole again, but he didn't use his time to be with his wife. Instead, he had no choice. He was bound to go to the underworld after being locked in the coffin by Set. Based on this story, that is why Osiris is now known as the god of the underworld. Now we have covered what mythology is, the basic beliefs, and Osiris' story. This report should get you to love Egyptian mythology and learn more about it. We have only just covered the basics. There's still so much to learn.
Nice. That was so interesting.
I agree. I think that might have been the best one yet. Well, we are going strong now. Next up, we have Mackenzie with pandas. Tell us what you know, Mackenzie.
Pandas are a type of bear, and they are black and white. They have round black ears and their heads are white. Around their eyes it is black and a panda's belly is white, but their arms, chest, and legs are black. This bear's tail is white and short. They have short necks and also have thick shoulders. This animal has long claws and they can stand on two back legs, but they walk on all fours. Pandas live in China in the mountains. Their habitat is forests. Pandas live close to rivers and waterfalls. It is foggy most of the time. They have a home range and they usually live on their own. Sometimes pandas share their home range with other pandas, but they don't hang out together. Now I'm going to tell you about the panda's diet. Pandas eat bamboo, eat leaves, roots, and shoots of the bamboo. Plants. This bear is called the bamboo bear because it eats bamboo 16 hours a day. Bamboo does not have a lot of vitamins. That is why they need to eat a lot of it. This animal sometimes eats small birds and fish. Now I'm going to tell you about some interesting facts about the pandas. These animals do not have thumbs, but they have an extra finger to hold their bamboo. Pandas don't growl, unlike other bears. They bleat like a sheep instead of growling. They're only about 1,600 left in the world. They are an endangered species. I hope that you have learned a lot about pandas.
Wow, Mackenzie, I loved that. That was so amazing. I loved it.
Yeah, that was so exciting. Next we have Logan with Princess Diana. This should be royally good.
It really should.
If you do not know who Princess Diana is, have you been living under a rock? Princess Diana, or otherwise known as the Queen of People's Hearts, was married to Prince Charles from 1981 to 1996. In 1997, she sadly died in a car crash. She is one interesting person to learn about. Princess Diana's childhood is interesting to learn about. She was born on July 1st, 1961, and she is the third daughter of Viscount Edward, John, and Frances. In 1967, her parents separated. 2 years later, the divorce was finalized. Shortly afterwards, her mother married Peter Sand Clyde. In 1975, her grandfather sadly passed away, and her father inherited the title, becoming the 8th Earl of Great Britain. For this reason, Diana Spencer became Lady Diana Spencer. She went on to Switzerland to finish her schooling at West Hill School. I think you'll be surprised how Diana turned her education into a teaching job. She started to work at the Young England kindergarten in London. Diana always loved kids, which is why she wanted to become a teacher. Diana has also always had a kind heart, and because of this, she worked with many charities and helped raise money for them. She even raised $3.5 million for an AIDS charity. Let's talk about Diana's family life more. When she was 19, she met the Prince of Wales at a shooting party, and they later went on to get married. On June 21st, 1982, their first child was born. She had a boy, and she named him William Arthur Philip Lewis, and was titled the Prince of Wales. On September 15th, 1983, her second child was born, another boy, that she named Henry Charles Albert David, but he is better known as Prince Harry. In 1996, Diana's marriage was over with Charles because Charles had cheated on Diana with the now Queen Camilla. As you see, Princess Diana was a wonderful person, and if you did not know who Princess Diana was, I hope you learned something about her. And if you already knew about her, I hope you learned something you did not know before.
Hearing that was so heartwarming. Thanks for that, Logan.
I agree. I love that. However, we have to move on, so next up we have Brandon with Martin Luther King Jr. Please, take it away.
Have you ever heard of Martin Luther King Jr.? Well, he was a civil rights leader, and he was the person that spoke his I Have a Dream speech, which is one of his most famous speeches. There is so much to learn about Martin Luther King Jr. Martin Luther King Jr. was born on January 15th, 1929 in Atlanta, Georgia, in the United States of America. Have you ever had a very good friend? Martin Luther King Jr. had a good friend, but he was white, and one day they wanted to play, and they met up. And Martin's friend said that his dad banned him from seeing Martin. At this time, he realized that there was an issue between the blacks and whites. He had seen the signs in public places saying either color or no color, but he hadn't thought about it much before that moment. At dinner that night, he asked his mom and dad what was happening between this. This was his first experience with segregation. When Martin was an adult, he was invited to be a pastor for Dexter Avenue Church, just like his dad. In 1953, he married Coretta Scott and had their first child, Denise. He later led the bus boycott when Rosa Parks didn't give up her seat to a white man, and after his house got bombed in reaction to this, but he persevered. Martin Luther King Jr. also helped with the famous March on Washington, where over 50,000 people marched, helped to show the importance of civil rights. Martin gave a lot of speeches such as I Have a Dream, The Other America, I've Been on the Mountaintop, The Quest of Peace and Justice, and many more. Martin Luther King Jr.'s legacy is that he advanced civil rights. He advanced the civil rights movement a lot. He has over 750 streets named after him. He helped in ending segregation. Over 1 million people held their own marches because of Martin Luther King Jr. A lot of people liked and admire Martin Luther King Jr. He left a long-lasting legacy. Oh yeah, don't forget to change the world today.
That sure was informative, Brandon.
Yeah, I can't believe that there are 750 streets named after him. You learn something new every day.
Up next, we have Stephen with the U.S. Navy. I'm sure this will blow us away.
Did you ever wonder how the Navy began, how it fights in battles, or how the systems work? Well, you are about to find out. We'll start with its history. The birth of the Navy created one of the most magnificent branches of the military to this day. Born on October 13th, 1775, along with all the other branches of the military, the Navy was an immediate asset to the American Revolution because it could take down ships while they were traveling at sea, which was a huge part of exploration around the world. The Navy was disbanded in 1783, but that was cut short when it was more powerful than the Army, so it was put back in service. In the year 1789, the War Department was born to handle naval affairs. Then in the year 1798, the Department of the Navy was born, which was a cabinet level inside the War Department. In 1842, an organization made docks and construction equipment to help the warships fight in battle. Battles and wars that the Navy fought were a big part in the Navy's creation of weapons and support to other naval ships. Some of the naval ships' combat functions were surface, submarine, and air warfare, and the other types of ships were used for island hopping to explore and conquer more land. Navy's warfares helped in wars like the Quasi-War and the Algerian War in the late 1700s and early 1800s. Now, after World War II, the Navy is competitive when it comes to ship-to-ship battles, create a damage safety control to help repair or upgrade ships that have fought in battles or wars. Navy uses a command and control to help them fight. Navy has a link to the Global Information Grid and the Department of Defense. For example, satellites which could detect enemy missiles coming at your land and get an early head start to prepare and stop the missiles. They also have a Ballistic Missile Defense, or BMD, and this system has a helping system called AEGIS. Finally, they have a naval firing system which helps them fire artillery from sea and ocean into land and shores near the water. Today's Navy branch of military is still one of the most powerful branches in the U.S. military and around the world. Learning about one of the most powerful branches of the military is shocking and inspiring.
Hey, Allie, did you know that the Navy went through that much over its years of service?
You know, Zoe, I didn't know at all, but I'm sure happy they do it for us.
I agree. And now, last but certainly not least, we have even more great information on Princess Diana.
Talk about double trouble. Take it away, Delilah.
Have you ever heard of Princess Diana? She is mostly known for being the Princess of Wales, but she's done a ton of other amazing things, such as opening a section for AIDS patients in a British hospital and being a top patron for charities. Now let's learn about Princess Diana. As you will soon notice, Diana Frances Spencer had a very thrilling childhood. She was born on July 1st in 1961 in Sandringham, England. Her parents were usually working, so they didn't have much time for her and her siblings, and instead nannies cared for them. Since her parents were off at work and her sisters were off at school, she often became lonely. That was until her brother Charles was born. They were best friends, always playing around with each other and always giving Diana a friend to rely on. I think you'll be very surprised once I inform you about all of Diana's schools, as she went to quite a few. To start, when Diana was 8, she attended Stillfield School, and a year after that, when she was 9, her parents sent her to an all-girls boarding school called Riddlesworth. Later, when she was 17, she went to a finishing school in Switzerland, but she dropped out. Diana was going to go to college, but she changed her mind when she met Prince Charles. Speaking of Prince Charles, let's talk about how Princess Diana became famous. It all started when she met Princess Charles at a shooting thingy. They fell in love and married. The people loved Princess Diana's personality. Sometime near 1981, she had her first child, William, and her popularity skyrocketed. Unfortunately, in 1997, Diana passed away. The people left millions of flowers in her honor, and that just shows just how truly amazing she was. That's all we can fit in for today, but overall, we've learned that Princess Diana was hardworking, caring, loving, and in my opinion, the best royal blood to ever live.
That was so informative. I'm glad I got to learn double the information on such an important figure.
Me too.
Wow, that was a lot. I can't wait to learn more next time.
We have to go for now. And don't forget to be slay.
Hi, I'm Maddie. And I'm Avery, and welcome back to today's latest news on Animal Lover Network. Today we'll be talking about a lot of different animals. Jinx! Oh wait, we're still filming.
First up is Thomas talking about rays. I can't wait to learn more about these different types of species. Did you know that there are a lot of different types of rays just not in their name?
The ray is one of the most confusing and amazing creatures of all time. If you want to see for yourself, just come with me. If you have seen the bottom of a ray, you would know where the mouth is. But also under there are nostrils, not eyes. Some rays can be as small as 9 inches tall and 9 inches wide. They can also be as big as 14 feet tall. They have long tails, thin, flat, wide bodies, and they're shaped like diamonds, kites, or pancakes. I hope the next time you try to eat a pancake, you don't eat a ray. Rays eat a lot of things, but the hunter always gets hunted. They usually survive because they're able to camouflage. Isn't that ray-tastic? They don't use their eyes to hunt. Instead, they use sensors that are in the pores near their mouths. They have interlocking teeth and spiky spines to stab threats. They eat worms, lobsters, crabs, oysters, clams, and other stuff like that. Let's hope you don't camouflage away after this joke. But actually, please don't leave. Did you know that sharks and rays are related? Yep, that's right, they are. There are a lot of things about rays I can't say everything I learned, but that doesn't mean I can't say a lot, such as they've been around for 1 million years, there are 600 species and 24 ray families. Stingrays are the most famous ray. What is really surprising is all the other types of rays, such as sharks, eagle rays, blue-spotted rays, southern stingrays, manta rays, sawfish, guitarfish, and electric rays. That's pretty shocking. Most likely the next time you see a ray, I bet you'll remember this. And that's me with rays and laughter. Back to you, Maddie and Avery.
That was ray-tastic, Thomas.
And that was so not funny, Avery. Next will be Avery talking about whale sharks. Let's dive into it. Did you get it?
That was like super funny. I heard the crickets.
Okay, let's actually get into it. Did you know that they're the biggest animal in the sea? Let's learn more. You may know about goldfish, betta fish, and hammerhead sharks, and many more types of fish. But have you ever heard about a whale shark? If you don't recognize that fish, we'll talk all about them, such as where they live, how they look, and what they eat, and some fun facts. Do you like tropical and warm places? Because whale sharks sure do. Whale sharks love tropical areas. Whale sharks live in mostly tropical areas, like the northern Indian Ocean. They also live in some parts of the Pacific and Atlantic Ocean. Anywhere tropical, really. Surprisingly, they migrate to the west coast of Australia because there is more food to eat there when it gets cold. This is only one cool thing about whale sharks. There's so many more, such as how they look. Whale sharks have really cool and interesting patterns on their back. They have little dots on their backs and their stomachs, and they look like little stars. Their dot patterns help scientists tell them apart. Whale sharks have a light belly like white and a dark back such as brown, gray, or even a blue. These animals have small eyes and really big gills. Whale sharks are really big. They can get as long as a school bus. Some even get 46 feet or longer. They have 300 rows of teeth on the bottom of their mouth and the top, but they can't harm anything because all of their teeth are covered by flaps of skin. Learning about appearance is my favorite, but maybe diet will be your favorite. There isn't a wide variety of food options that whale sharks eat, but they do eat a lot every day. Whale sharks love zooplankton. They are so tiny you would need a microscope to see them. They love anything small like crabs, tiny jellyfish, small fish, tiny squid, and anything they can swallow. They can only eat small things because their throats are really small. They eat about 45 pounds of food a day or more. Their diet is small, but they sure eat a lot. Learning about the whale shark's diet is fun, but some of these fun facts will be even more interesting. These amazing fish are really interesting when it comes to facts. Most whale sharks live up to 100, and kids become adults at 30. They also weigh 200 to 300 pounds or more. Bigger fish feel safe near whale sharks because their throats are small, so they know they won't be their prey. If you want, you could even swim right next to them without getting hurt. Some states are trying to make killing whale sharks illegal, so you can swim with them for years to come. Whale sharks are like water vacuums because they suck up the water and any tiny fish. They swallow the fish or whatever else they sucked up and push the water back out of those gills. Those fun facts are really interesting to learn about. Whale sharks are so fascinating to learn about, too. Whale sharks are so fascinating to learn about and super fun, too. I really loved talking about whale sharks, and maybe you'll want to go to a tropical area now and swim with a whale shark. It was really amazing learning about these interesting creatures. Back to the newsroom with Maddie. Wow, Avery, that was incredible.
I know.
So I don't get a thank you?
No. Let's get right into Maddie singing about koalas. They live about for 20 years or even a little longer.
But I'm not singing about them, I'm talking.
Well, whatever. You should still sing. Let's learn more with Maddie now.
They're cute, they're interesting, and they're awesome to learn about. Can you guess what I'm talking about? If you said a koala, you are correct. Today we'll be talking about about how the koala looks, how it eats and what eats it, and where the koala lives. I'm so excited to talk about them, and I hope you are excited too. First up is appearance. Koalas are very cute and can look very different or similar from one another. You may mistake a koala for another animal, so here's how you can tell the difference. Koalas are very small and have little black eyes. They have long claws which helps them stay in trees. Koalas are a reddish brown to gray color, and their bellies are a lighter color such as tan or white. Their ears are big and fluffy, and their nose is pretty big too. A male koala weighs more and is slightly bigger than a female koala. A male weighs between 21 and 30 pounds and is 29 to 32 inches tall. On the other hand, a female koala weighs between 15 and 21 pounds and is 27 to 29 inches tall. Did you know that the koala lives for about 20 years? That is a long life for an animal. Dogs, for example, only live for 11 years. A koala's habitat is very fun and exciting to learn about. Koalas live in forests and are found in the eastern and southeastern coastlines in Australia. They live in trees, but they love one tree called the eucalyptus tree the most. The eucalyptus tree is poisonous to most animals, but not the koala. They have special body parts that helps them not be poisoned by the tree. The reason koalas like eucalyptus trees is because the tree provides food and shelter for them. This interesting animal doesn't build or dig their homes like other animals do. They simply find a tree and then sleep in it for half of the day. Wow, that's way more than we sleep. Koalas like to wedge themselves between the corners of the tree where the sturdy branches stick out from the trunks. They also like to stay in the shady parts of the tree. Let's dive into diet next. A koala's diet is small, plain, and boring, but it's still really fun to learn about. Koalas eat only leaves and nothing but leaves, but they specifically like the leaves from the same tree they live in, the eucalyptus tree. They eat the tip of the leaves because it's the softest and the juiciest part of the leaves and contains the most nutrients. Koalas eat for 3 hours a day and gain 2.5 pounds because of it. When they eat, they sometimes put the leaves into a special patch in their cheek, so when they are hungry, they can have an easy snack. They also don't drink or need that much water because the leaves that they eat have a lot of moisture, and the leaf gives the koala all of the water it needs to survive, but they do still drink some water. Something you may not know is that the word koala is an Aboriginal Australian word for meaning no drink. Koalas also need to watch out for their predators so they don't die. Some of their predators are a bald eagle because they can snatch up a tiny koala any day, or a wild dog called a dingo. If a koala is on the ground, then it could die. Sadly, we are done talking about koalas, but now you can learn about more interesting animals. Personally, I like learning about the diet the best. Have a koalific day. Back to you, Avery.
Amazing, Maddie. I loved hearing about koalas.
Yeah, I know. I'm like super smart. I could teach preschool.
Wow, that's actually mind-blowing.
I know. I'm like that smart.
Next up is Ella talking about gerbils. Gerbils love sleeping and playing with their toys.
I'm so excited to hear more. Let's get to Ella.
Do you have a favorite animal? I do. Mine is a gerbil. I'm going to teach you some things about gerbils, such as what they are, their diet, their habitat, and entertainment. Let's get into it. A gerbil is a small mammal that you can have as a pet. Gerbils look like hamsters, but they aren't hamsters. Gerbils have strong back legs so they can stand up, and when they stand up, they look like little humans. Gerbils like to live in groups because they don't like to be alone. They come in different colors. Most gerbils are brown, but some are white, gold, and black. They can also have patterns such as stripes, patches, and just one single color. Gerbils are fast and curious. A gerbil's diet is simple. You can go to the pet store and get special gerbil food. You need to clean up their food dish so their food doesn't go bad. Give your gerbil a heavy food dish so they can't move it around and spill out their food. Every day, make sure to give your gerbil a fruit or a veggie. Finally, your gerbil needs fresh, clean water every morning. Have you ever seen a gerbil's habitat? Gerbils like to live in a tank or a cage. For their flooring or bedding, you can put down hay or paper shavings so it's nice and soft for them. You can give your gerbil some toys so they don't get bored, or if you have more than one gerbil, then add a lot so they don't fight over the toys. If you're feeling creative, then you can make your own custom cage or tank. Just make sure
you don't have sharp edges so they don't get hurt. Have you ever tried to entertain a gerbil? You have to watch out for your gerbil's health to make sure their fun doesn't turn into sadness by getting hurt. Never give your gerbil metal toys or any painted toys. You can make your own toys at home, but you have to make sure they are safe with materials like wood. If you let your gerbil run free, make sure you have all doors and windows closed so they don't run out on you. For entertainment, gerbils are very fast, so if you have multiple gerbils, you can do races. Gerbils can make little huts and houses with their bedding or hay all on their own. I hope you learned a lot about gerbils, such as what they are, what they eat, their habitat, and entertainment. Everyone should get a gerbil as a pet, just like me. Now back to you, Avery and Maddie.
Amazing, Ella. I loved hearing about gerbils, and I definitely learned so much more.
OMG, I agree. It was fantastic.
Next up is Emma talking about Labrador Retrievers. They are really energetic and love to play. Take it away, Emma.
Have you ever heard about Labrador Retrievers? Well, if you haven't, then you came to the right place. Let's learn about them together. Labradors come in 3 different colors. They come in yellow, brown, and black. They weigh 30 to 55 pounds and are 18 to 27 inches. They don't have a lot of fur, but they shed a lot. There's 3 breeds of Labrador Retrievers, and they are Golden Retrievers, Black Labradors, and Brown Labradors. When they were first found, they were only black. Now there's 2 other colors they can be. One of the more unique parts of their appearance is that their tails are folded like a flagpole. Now you know about their appearance, but have you thought about what they eat? Labrador Retrievers can have 2 to 3 cups of dog food per day. On top of their diet is dog treats. You can give them dog treats if you're training them to be good, but usually 1 at a time. Most of them can eat meat, but some can't. For example, my dog. If my dog eats meat, then she's going to have a stomachache. They need vegetables and grains in their diet. Dogs can't have chocolate, grapes, avocados, and other things. There's a lot of cool things to learn about labs. Female dogs are smaller than male dogs. Labs can have up to 5 to 10 puppies in their litter. Retrievers can even be in movies. They can be seen in Old Yellow and a bunch more. Labs are great service dogs. They can help people if they're blind or other disabilities. In a more important way, they were used as fire dogs at the Twin Tower crash in 2001. They're the most popular breed in the USA out of all 50 dog breeds. Wow, what a lot of great information. Make sure to share this information with any of your friends who have Labrador Retrievers.
Did you see that picture? Labradors are so cute. They were even fun to learn about, too.
I loved all that information about them. It's so interesting and cool. Next is Ethan talking about ferrets. Did you know that brown ferrets have a patch on their face that looks like a bandit and they like to steal things?
Sounds super cool to me. And fun. Let's jump right into it.
Have you ever wanted to have an unusual pet? Then you should get a pet ferret for yourself. Ferrets can live in homes and in the wild. I also would like to share about what ferrets look like. Ferrets come in a variety of colors, like brown with a black mask, white with a normal face, and tan colored. Most ferrets have a strong odor. Ferrets are 8 to 18 inches long and their tail is about half the length of their body. Now I'm going to tell you about a ferret's habitat. If it is in your home, then your ferret should sleep in a cozy bed with blankets, shred paper, and straw or hay to keep the ferret warm. Ferrets need some toys, a hammock, food, and water bowl to keep the ferret healthy. If you are interested in getting a ferret, you can find them in a local shelter. Ferrets can also get along with dogs and cats. Wild ferrets live and spend most of their time in dens called burrows. Now I am going to talk about what ferrets eat. Ferrets need a lot of protein and are carnivores. In the wild, ferrets eat all types of animals like prairie dogs and rabbits. Pet ferrets eat ferret pellets or cat or dog food. A tasty treat that you can give your ferret once in a while is ice cream. Chocolates are very bad for ferrets. Ferrets sometimes eat boiled or scrambled eggs. I don't know why I added that. I want to tell you about how to take care of ferrets. Ferrets also need to be groomed. To groom your ferret, pick it up with one hand behind the front legs and supporting its bottom. Then give it a brushing get some fur off the body. You also need to bathe your ferret once in a while. Ferrets need plenty of shade and they also need fresh water. Ferrets need to sleep up to 20 hours a day. Ferrets are intelligent and friendly, playful and entertaining. Someday I'll probably get a ferret of my own.
Thanks, Ethan. I sure enjoyed learning about ferrets from you.
I think that was ferretastic.
While ferrets are great, we have to move on to Skylar talking about ostriches. I know I'm so excited to hear about them.
A little birdie told me that ostriches can't fly, but they can run super quick, so I wouldn't want to get into a fight with one myself.
Do you want to learn about ostriches? Well, I hope you do, because the main topics are appearance, diet, and habitat. I'm also going to talk about fun facts. Let's get ready to learn about ostriches. Did you know that ostriches can be all types of different colors? For example, the North African ostrich has a flat bill and a long neck. They also have super long eyelashes. Ostriches only have 2 toes. What would you do if you only had 2 toes? While other birds and animals have 3 or 4 or maybe even more. Ostriches' eyes are the size of tennis balls. They can't fly because their wings can't lift up their heavy bodies. It is ostriches' long legs that help them run. Ostriches like to eat all sorts of foods, such as leaves, seeds, and of course fruits. Did you know that ostriches can't go a day without water? They also like to eat small bugs and rodents. Ostriches can eat all sorts of things other animals can't digest, such as pebbles and small stones that help grind up different types of food in their gizzard. When ostriches eat food, it is collected in the top of their throat before going to their stomach. Do you want to know how ostriches survive? Ostriches can use the spare on their wings to help them fight off their enemies. When danger approaches, ostriches lie down low to hide. Ostriches can sometimes live on farms. Wild ostriches live in the plains of Africa, which is why they are able to blend in with sand and soil to stay safe. There are many fun facts about ostriches. Did you know ostriches can weigh up to 400 pounds? Ostriches are the largest bird on Earth. Also interesting to know is that ostriches can kick so hard that they can kill a grown lion. Another interesting fact is that some use ostriches' skin to make boots and purses. Lastly, it is intriguing to know that ostriches kick so hard that they can kill a grown lion. Wow! I hope you enjoyed learning about ostriches. I know my favorite subtopic was appearance. The one thing you should always remember about ostriches is you may not want to go near an angry ostrich.
That was absolutely crazy how much I learned about Skylar talking about ostriches. I would love to have an ostrich as a pet, but wouldn't want to make it mad.
I would like to hear more about it, but it's almost my break, so let's get on with it.
Last but not least is Calvin talking about golden retrievers. I love how golden retrievers are so cute and fluffy.
Also, golden retrievers love to swim and run around and especially love getting attention.
Have you heard of a golden retriever? Well, today I'm going to tell you a little bit about them. Golden retrievers are really cool dogs, but did you know that a golden retriever is a sporting dog? I have always wanted a golden retriever myself, and once I'm done telling you a little bit about them, maybe you'll consider getting one too. As you will soon see, the diet of a golden retriever is very strict and interesting to learn about. Golden retrievers usually eat dry dog food, and they also really like meat. Just like other dogs, most human foods can be bad for a golden, such as onions, grapes, raisins, chocolate, and more. Usually, golden retrievers are very playful, and because of that, they need a lot more water than a normal dog, or else they will get dehydrated and get sick. Golden retrievers have really sensitive skin, so a poor quality diet will cause skin problems. When buying dog food for a golden retriever, I recommend checking the ingredients because avoiding dog food with artificial colors or a lot of salt is the best choice for a golden retriever. I don't know about you, but whenever I see a golden retriever, I say something like, "Aw." Usually a mature golden male stands at about 2 feet. Golden retrievers usually have a yellowish coat of varying colors. A golden retriever's coat is very thick and fluffy. They can weigh up to 60 to 70 pounds. Their fur is waterproof and wavy, and because of that, they really like to swim. A golden retriever has a layer of skin that falls off all the time, and that is called shedding their fur. Most dogs shed their fur. This amazing dog is very energetic and playful. Golden retrievers love to play fetch, and because of that, they can become very strong. This amazing animal is really active, and they need a lot of exercise every day. Swimming is a golden retriever's favorite thing to do, especially on a hot summer day. Golden retrievers don't like being alone, and because of that, they will get into trouble if left alone for too long. Some people don't want their kids near a golden retriever, but really golden retrievers love kids, and if you see one
and let it sniff you, it will remember you a year later. So next time you see a golden retriever, remember there's nothing to be scared of. Golden retrievers are really energetic, but did you know that some people use golden retrievers as a therapy dog to calm them down, which I think is super cool. After hearing this, don't you agree they are such cool dogs? Now that you know more about golden retrievers, maybe you'll consider getting one. I know I am. If you are planning on getting a golden retriever, I recommend you get a puppy, as they are the cutest. That is all for today, so have a golden day.
Wow, I loved all the information about them and that it's almost my break.
Okay, we get it. We have been working all day and you are tired, but let's finish strong. Thank you, Calvin, for giving us all that special information about golden retrievers.
After all this work, I think we've both owned a donut break. That's all on Animal Lover Network. Bye! Jinx!
Good morning, Sports Network. Howdy, I'm Madison.
Yeehaw! I'm Sean. Guys, this is Sports Network, not a rodeo. That's better, and I'm Evelyn.
Today we have 7 people reporting on Sports Network.
First, we'll be hearing Mikey with Steph Curry.
Then we'll have Sean with Michael Jordan.
Next we'll have Jace with the Boston Celtics.
Then we'll have Sam with rugby.
After Sam, we'll have Emlyn with All-Star Cheer. Next we'll have Jack with Patrick Mahomes. And lastly, Madison with Dak Prescott.
Our first reporter will be Mikey with Steph Curry, a basketball player. I don't know about you guys, but isn't basketball kind of boring?
Absolutely not! Go on, Mikey. Show them that basketball is not boring.
Have you ever heard of Stephen Curry? Stephen Curry is a professional basketball player on the Golden State Warriors. Let's talk about how Stephen Curry got to the NBA. Stephen Curry was born on March 14, 1988 in Charlotte, North Carolina. Curry's dad is named Dal Curry, and he plays on the Charlotte Hornets. His mom's name is Siona Curry, and she is a professional volleyball player. Stephen Curry has a young brother named Seth Curry. Stephen plays football, baseball, and soccer. He was 5 feet 6 inches tall and weighed 125 pounds as a freshman in college. He played for Davidson, North Carolina, and he wore number 30. When he was in college, he had grown to 6 feet, 160 pounds. Stephen Curry got drafted in 2009 with the Golden State Warriors. He was 21 years old, 6 feet 3 inches tall, and weighed 180 pounds, but he was too short for shooting guard on the Warriors. When he played on the Warriors, he averaged 17.5 points per game, 5.9 assists, and 1.9 steals in a game. In 2010, Curry got an ankle injury versus the Bulls on July 26 on a Thursday night. After the ankle injury, he only got 14.7 points per game, and that's the lowest in the NBA. When he was in the gym training before he went back to the Golden State Warriors, he lifted 400 pounds. Curry went on to win his first championship in 2015. The Warriors had not won a championship in 40 years. After the championship, he hit 402 three-pointers in a season, and that is a record breaker. Over the years, Curry has achieved many things. He has won 2 gold medals on the USA team, as well as won a MVP award in 2022 with the Warriors. He won 9 All-Stars in 2014, 2019, 2020, 2022, and 2023. Now he is 36 and he averages 32 points per game, 5.6 assists, and 4.4 rebounds in a season. That's awesome. Now that you know all about Stephen Curry, you can tell your friends that he is the best basketball player. Let's see if anyone can break his records.
Well, after hearing that, I agree. Basketball isn't that boring.
We told you so.
Anyways, that was amazing, Mikey.
Now we have Sean with the greatest basketball player of all time, Michael Jordan.
Thank you, Madison, and you're right. Michael Jordan is the greatest of all time. This amazing player has a lot of facts and stories, so sit back, eat some popcorn and mayonnaise, and listen to moi. Young Michael was a very competitive kid, especially against older people. I wish I had the guts to do that. Michael was the 4th of 5 kids, which is probably why he's so tough. As you might know, Michael is the GOAT, also known as greatest of all time. At first, he didn't always just play basketball. Like a lot of kids, Michael played more than just one sport. In fact, he played 3 sports, like me. After a long time of playing baseball, basketball, and football, he decided to just play
basketball, and thank goodness he did, because he changed the National Basketball Association, known as the NBA, forever. Before he went to the NBA, he went to North Carolina, where he won the NCAA championship, which is the college championship. Yeah, it's a big deal, especially if you make brackets like many fans do. As fun as brackets are, this isn't a presentation on March Madness, because Michael Jordan is too important. Speaking of important, Michael's 6 trophies are one of his most important possessions. So cool! Another cool fact is he retired not once, but twice. Not a lot of people know this, or that he starred in the movie Space Jam. Oh, and one more fact, he played on both the Bulls, which was his main team, and the Washington Wizards. During Michael's final game in 1998, he played on the Bulls. He played with his friends Scottie Pippen and Dennis Rodman, and they were playing alongside him and were the closest to being as good as him. However, Scottie was hurt and had missed 35 games, and Dennis, well, I don't even want to get started with him, but I'll sum it up to this. He wasn't focused on basketball. But despite that, they went on to win the 1998 championship. Awesome, right? Throughout Michael's life, he's made numerous achievements, one being the best basketball player of all time, and another achievement is Defensive Player of the Year and 10-time All-NBA All-Star team. He also won 2 Olympic gold medals and 6 awesome championship rings and 5 MVPs. Basketball will never be the same until the next superstar is born. Now back to Madison, Emlyn, and I.
No way! I can't believe Michael Jordan won 5 MVPs.
I know, right?
Basketball isn't always my favorite, but I know I'll still learn a lot.
You may just change your mind, Emlyn, because now we have Jace with the
legendary Boston Celtics.
Have you ever heard of the Celtics? The Boston Celtics represent our National Basketball Association team, aka the NBA. There are many different and really good players on the Celtics, and I would love to tell you all about some of them. After hearing about the Celtics' history, you will know that they are the most successful team in the NBA. The Celtics were formed in 1946 by Walter Brown. At the start, things didn't go so well, but things started to get better when Brown hired Red Auerbach as head coach in 1950. In the 1950s, the Celtics won 44 games. By the end of the 60s, the Celtics had 11 championships, but their winning streak started to weaken for 6 consecutive years. Although gears began to shift after Paul Pierce joined the team. After a 5-year stretch of winning records, the Celtics lost some hope from 2020 to 2021. But young stars Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown had other plans and led the Celtics to the NBA Finals the next year. Jason Tatum is a record breaker, a 5-time NBA All-Star winner, and an NBA All-Star Game MVP for the Celtics. Jason Christopher Tatum was born March 3, 1998, and is an American professional basketball player for the Celtics. His jersey number is 0. He stands at 6 feet and 8 inches and weighs 210 pounds. He is a small forward and a power forward, and also averages 27 points, 8.2 rebounds, and 4.9 assists per game. As a sophomore in 2014, he averaged 26 points and 11 rebounds per game. A couple of years later, he missed 8 games due to a foot injury. As a senior, he went on to average 29.5 points and 9.1 rebounds per game. Then on December 12, 2016, he was awarded ACC Freshman of the Week. Tatum played for the Duke Blue Devils in college basketball. On November 22, 2020, Tatum and the Celtics agreed to a rookie maximum extension of 5 years worth $195 million. He was the youngest player to ever to score more than 50 points and also scored the 3rd highest number of points in Celtics history and grabbed more than 10 rebounds since Larry Bird did it back in 1989. He became the youngest player in NBA history to make 900 three-pointers, doing so at 24 years old and surpassing the previous record set by Bradley Beal at 25 years old. Tatum is a Christian, crediting Jesus for his success and career. He currently lives in Newton, Massachusetts, where he bought a mansion in 2019. Tatum also has his own shoes called the Tatum Jordans, aka TJs or JTs. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown make a great young duo for the Celtics. Jaylen Marcellus Brown was born on October 24, 1996 in Marietta, Georgia. He stands at 6 feet and 6 inches and weighs 223 pounds. His position is a guard and forward, and he also averages 23.2 points, 5.5 rebounds, and 3.6 assists per game. His jersey number is 7. Brown played basketball for Wheeler High School in his home city. In his freshman year, he averaged 14.6 points, 5.4 rebounds, and 0.9 three-pointers per game. He also won a G Federation International Basketball Association medal as part of the USA men's basketball U18 national team. Before being drafted to the Celtics, he played a year for California University. He has done 4 double-doubles and 6 20-point games. Now that you know about the Celtics and the team's impressive players, you can tell all your friends about the Celtics' history and more. If you follow your dreams, maybe you could be a professional basketball player for the Celtics or some other cool team in the NBA too.
Jace, that was really great. Emlyn, wasn't that great?
Ow, my poor ears.
Here, Emlyn, this will make you happy. Now we're going to switch from basketball to rugby.
Come on, Sam, I can't wait to hear about rugby.
Have you ever heard the game of rugby? Rugby is a team sport like American football. It is played both by men and women. Let me tell you about it. Rugby began around 1845 in the town of Rugby, England. The playing field is a rectangle of about 330 feet long. The game is played with 2 teams trying to score the most points using an oval ball. There are 15 players on each team who try to score points by running with the ball and passing to other team members to score. You can also score points by kicking the ball through the goalpost. Just like American football, there are tackles, except they are called rucks. It sounds kind of scary. The game is played in 2 halves of 40 minutes each, and the team with the most points is the winner. The rugby uniforms are made up of a jersey with player number and team on it, and a team name on it. They also wear shorts and long socks with padding underneath to protect their legs. A soft leather helmet protects the players from injuring their hip. Rugby boots are similar to soccer shoes because they have cleats to help them grip the ground, help them grip the field. The game of rugby is enjoyed over 100 countries around the world. It's very popular in Britain, Ireland, France, Australia, and New Zealand. So if you think you want to play rugby, you need to find a team in your town.
Sam, that was some great information on rugby.
I think this one may be the best one yet.
We'll be the judge of that. Next up, we'll have Emlyn talking about All-Star Cheer.
Cheer, really? I don't know about that one.
Emlyn may just change her mind. Go ahead, Emlyn.
Thank you, Sean and Madison. I bet you have heard of cheerleading, and when you think of cheer, you're probably thinking of cheering at football games or basketball games. But have you heard of All-Star Cheerleading? All-Star Cheer is cheering at competitions. Today I'm going to tell you all you need to know about cheerleading. A very important part of cheer is teamwork. You might watch cheer and see all the really cool stunts, and everyone in a stunt has a really important job. There are 5 stunting positions: flyer, main base, side base, back spot, and front spot. Flyers have to have lots of balance so they can get thrown in the air. Bases have to be really strong to carry the flyers. Back spots also have to be really strong to help the bases lift the flyers. And front spots also help the bases and flyer to give extra support. Did you know that cheerleading has been a thing for over 100 years? A lot of cheer gyms have had lots of accomplishments, like Cheer Athletics in Dallas, Texas has won 4 national titles, or the Maryland Twisters has 11 teams and has won over 150 national titles. Jim Tynan in Kentucky won 2 gold medals. These are some really big accomplishments. One of my favorite parts of cheer are the competitions. Some teams go to cheer comps every weekend. You have to pay attention to all the rules so you don't get any points taking off your team from the judges.
Nationals, Summit, and Worlds are 3 of the biggest competitions, but they're really hard to get invited to. Normally you go to a competition and then you wait a couple hours and then you go to awards. Awards are really fun because they normally put on really fun music and you and your team dance around for a little bit. Every team has their own spirit animal or tradition they use as a good luck charm. My team has a stuffed animal duck that we call Bling Bling. Now you know more about All-Star Cheerleading. I hope you are a little more interested, or at least know a little more about All-Star Cheer. All-Star Cheer is a really fun sport to make new friends and travel. Have a cheerful day.
Well, wasn't that wasn't bad after all.
I know, right? But for real, that was some great information.
Thanks, guys.
Madison, are you ready to learn more about Patrick Mahomes?
I don't know how much more I can learn. But I always love to hear more about football.
All right, Jack, we can't wait to hear your information on Patrick Mahomes.
Have you ever heard of Patrick Mahomes? You probably have. He's a really good quarterback. He's been playing for 7 years, and he's 28 years old. He will probably be playing for 7 to 10 more years since he's so good. Now, let's get into his career. Patrick Mahomes is one of the best quarterbacks of all time, which you can see through his career. He was part of the 2017 draft, where he was first round 10th overall pick. He was the first Kansas City player to ever win Most Valuable Player, and was the first Kansas City quarterback to lead to the playoffs since 1993. No one expected him to be that good that fast. Have you ever wondered what an NFL player actually eats? Mahomes eats 5 meals a day. His favorite condiment is ketchup, and his favorite brand is Hunt's. He opened his own restaurant because of it. It's called 1587 Steakhouse. He said that when he was a little kid, he would just have ketchup and bread sandwiches. Don't get confused and think quarterbacks eat 10,000 calories a day. They really only have around 3,000 calories a day, which is only a little more than the typical 2,000 calories a day. Outside of football, he lives a normal life. He met his wife in high school. They became friends before they started dating. They stayed together through college, and in 2020, Mahomes proposed. Soon after they got married, they announced they're expecting a baby. They have 2 kids, a daughter named Sterling and a son named Patrick. Patrick Mahomes will be remembered forever as a great quarterback. Good luck ketchuping on this.
Wow, Jack, that was great!
Yeah, Sean, you're right. Patrick Mahomes really is my favorite player.
I told you so.
Well, I even started to like football for a second.
Next up, we have Madison with Dak Prescott, her second favorite quarterback.
Thank you, Sean and Emmeline. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for today's star of the week? This week's star is Dak Prescott. Do you want to learn more about him? Well, you're still listening, so let's get into today's lesson. Prescott's childhood is legendary to learn about. Dakota Prescott was born on July 29, 1993 in southern Louisiana. Prescott's dad played a huge role in his life. Dak had 4 siblings, Tad, Jace, Elliot, and Natalie. Dak went to Hoggington High School. The coaches for Hoggington knew about Dak since the 7th grade. He took every game seriously. When it came time for college, Dak Prescott got 6 college offers and accepted Mississippi State. Dak studied leadership and psychology and has helped him on and off the field. In 2008, Prescott got his lucky break when he got to step in at quarterback because senior quarterback Nick Fitzgerald got injured. When this happened, Dak was just a sophomore. Prescott helped to lead Mississippi State to win every regular season game. At the end of Prescott's college, he was entered in for the 2016 NFL Draft. Although Dak Prescott's life out of football is important, his football career is where he shines. Dak got drafted in the 4th round, 138th pick for the Dallas Cowboys. Dak wanted to be ready for the 2017 season, so he went to Disney in Orlando, Florida at a worldwide ESPN complex to help become a better quarterback. Dak wanted to have a long career, and so he stretched a lot so he wouldn't get injured. Dak plays for Dallas, which is the most valuable team in the franchise. Their team is worth $9.2 billion. As a quarterback, Dak Prescott was the first person to wear number 4 in Cowboys history. My favorite part to discuss is Dak Prescott's personal life. Dak makes more money working for companies than he does playing for football. Dak Prescott made a community with other celebrities called Ready, Raise, Rise due to his mom's passing in 2013 to cancer. Dak created this community with one thing in mind, to try to help support others with cancer as well as their families. Dak's purpose is to show support for cancer patients and families and spread awareness. Dak has a girlfriend, and as of February 29, 2024, they added a baby girl named MJ to their family. Dak Prescott had his fair share of achievements and obstacles. In 2017, Dak won the ESPY Award for Best Breakthrough Athlete. Prescott's family was not the richest when he grew up, so he didn't take anything for granted. He won the Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year in 2022. Today, Dak Prescott's contract is worth $160 million for 4 years. That's the most in the whole NFL. In 2020, Dak did not know that life was about to get way harder. In Week 5 against the New York Giants, Prescott got carted off the field due to a right ankle injury. Due to his injury, he was placed on season-ending injury reserve on October 19, 2020. Dak Prescott still works to be better than he was before. He also wants to help make the world a better place. To this day, Dak Prescott still plays for Dallas Cowboys. I can't wait to see what he does next season, but I also hope that Dak Prescott has a shot at the Hall of Fame after he retires soon. Dak Prescott is still searching for his Super Bowl ring. That's all for today on Dak Prescott. Back to you guys in the studio.
Awesome, Madison. That was so fantastically awesome.
Yeah, Sean, you're right. You know, Sean, I think I've changed my mind about basketball and football for real.
So happy that to hear you did.
We're sad to say it, but that's all for today on Sports Network League. Sports Network out!